is Nathan Graves, and I'm the Associate Director of New Student Programs. I get the pleasure of working with our orientation team and our staff to kind of deliver our orientation program to all of our new students and families.
My name is Brett Sauls. I'm the coordinator of orientation here at University of West Georgia, also a two-time graduate of the University of West Georgia. My job's really cool. I get to work with our orientation leaders, and it's really just a really fun job and a rewarding job. If you have questions today, make sure to drop it in the chat. You're not the only one with that question. We'll make sure that we answer that in our time today.
We also have Andrea and Taylor and Sosi. They are on here, and they are some graduate assistants that work in our office. They're going to be working through some of our chat questions, and then Dylan from Admissions is here. He is the mastermind behind putting together these Zoom meetings, so we appreciate all that Dylan has done. Just kind of laying it out there. As we kind of get started, please use this chat for all of your questions, and we will respond to them as we can. But I'm going to jump in and I'm going to share my screen, and we're going to talk a little bit about our orientation changes. So this orientation is for our fall start students. If you're a student that's starting classes in the summer, we are actually moving you to an online orientation. But if you are someone who is starting in the fall, we have a three-part process that we're going to explain today and let you know how that's going to look. So through this session, we hope that you'll understand our registration process, the three-part orientation program that we're going to deliver, give you an opportunity to ask some questions, and we'll answer them to the best of our ability, or we'll take down your information and make sure we can respond later. And then we want to talk about the next steps, the things that you should be doing from here that can really help you be successful in your transition to West Georgia. I'm going to talk a little bit about orientation registration. If you haven't registered already, then go ahead and log into westga.edu/orientation, and that will give you the chance to log on. There's a red button at the bottom of the screen that will take you through the step-by-step process of completing that registration. In order to secure your registration, you'll need to pay the orientation fee that is associated with that. And then an orientation leader will reach out to you starting in May to start answering some of those questions that you may have. So those are some of the things that we'll be working through. And here's kind of our orientation fee. So for first year students, we're going to hold a 2-day orientation in August for you. And this orientation fee encompasses all 3 steps of the orientation process. And then we also have a guest fee associated with that. For our transfer students, we'll do a 1-day program for you in August, along with a couple other steps that we'll get into. But that is $50. And if you want to bring a guest with you, that'll be $20 for that orientation fee. Brett, do you want to talk about online pre-orientation?
Yeah, so once you are registered for orientation, you'll be sent a link for your online pre-orientation. So this is going to be some modules that you'll go through that's going to talk about the key areas of our campus. Is very resourceful, and once you get through this online orientation, you'll then have a date set to then meet with your advisor. So the date that you have registered for already, which would have been your face-to-face date orientation, will then become the date that you will be reached out to from your advisor. So then you can start building those classes together with your advisor. You'll also be sent a survey, a pre-advising survey, and correct me if I'm wrong, Nathan, about this, that kind of talks a little bit about some things you're interested in taking, that so your advisor can help build that schedule with you. In this orientation, you can see this online pre-orientation, you can see it talks about your financial aid information, academic advising, the preparation for that, talks about meal plans, parking, and how to navigate this classroom fill. After your online orientation, again, you'll be paired up with an orientation leader. At this point, your orientation leader is going to be your biggest guide and your biggest friend here. You can ask your orientation leader any questions about the transition process to UWG, any kind of questions about involvement, financial aid. These are students that are on our campus that have been hand selected to help your transition. So they're going to be trained well to answer your questions. And they're students, right? So they have the real experiences on our campus. So really use those orientation leaders, your orientation leader to be your guide for your transition. So yeah. So for orientations, we'll have two different types of orientation. If you are a first time in college student, meaning you are under the age of 23, coming out of high school and never taken college credit before, you're going to be in our 2-day orientation experience. So this is going to be held in August, August 7th and 8th, or August 8th and 9th, depending on what college you're associated with. And this information will be communicated to you via email once we get closer to those dates. So don't worry about remembering what date and what college you're in right now. We'll have a 2-day orientation experience. So just like the orientation that you have registered for, it'll be the same type of information, the same type of fill. If you are a transfer student or a student, an adult learner, or over the age of 23, you will have a 1-day experience, and that's going to be on Tuesday, August 4th, correct, Nathan? And we're going to have that orientation for you as well. So we truly, at West Georgia, we value a face-to-face orientation. So we didn't want to just give you an online orientation and say, best of luck. We really value that face-to-face interaction with our students. You are now part of the pack, so we want to see you face-to-face at orientation. For the 2-day orientation, you're going to start off by moving in, and again, this communication will be more in depth in email once we get closer to that date. So you'll move into your residence hall. If you're a commuter, that's fine. You'll just come to campus like a typical orientation. We will then start the orientation, and then after the last day, you'll pick up that student ID piece, and we'll jump into Pack Premier starting on that Saturday afternoon in August 8th. And we'll kind of go from there. And this is the Pack Premier schedule here. Again, we'll check in after that second orientation piece, and then we'll go into floor meetings and then screen on the green later that evening, followed by our food trucks.
Yeah, Pack Premier is really a 4-day in-person experience that really gives you an opportunity to get acclimated to our campus, to navigate those spaces before classes start, and to just connect with other students and some really fun and engaging opportunities. Screen on the Green, if you're not familiar with that, is just an outdoor, we get this big inflatable screen, and we have a movie that will be played on it. Sosi has worked so hard to kind of get that together, and so this year we'll be playing Jumanji for Screen on the Green, and we'll have food trucks at that event. On Sunday, we'll do a Target takeover with our local Target. So, after you've moved in, maybe you realize you forgot a couple items, like that happens. We'll be able to take you to Target. We have this big interactive bingo game where you can win some really great prizes called Boom Boom Bingo. We have a hypnotist, which is one of our most exciting and well-attended events of Pack Premier. And then we'll do a late night breakfast in one of our dining halls. On Monday, if you're looking for a job on campus, we will have an in-person hiring fair. And those are for all of those employment opportunities that our campus partners provide. And so this is a great opportunity for you to start early with maybe making some money and making sure that you're connected with things on campus. For those living in a residence hall, and even those not living in a residence hall, we'll do the Battle of the Residence Halls, which is a big field day, and that'll happen in our Coliseum. We'll have a Fraternity and Story Life Festival, followed by a huge glow paint party, which is just a huge outdoor party. We have a huge DJ that's coming in. It'll be a great time. So, wear something that you can get some paint on and connect with people there. And then Tuesday, that's the day before classes start. It's a really academic focused day. You're going to be able to meet with people from your college to talk about just how to be successful in your major in the college that you're assigned to. We'll give you an opportunity to take your schedule and walk around campus to find where your classes are located. We'll have some pop into academic success things, and we'll finish off all of that orientation week and all of that pack premiere experience with a welcome back blast, which is a huge event that happens in Love Valley, which is the center of our campus. And we have some big inflatables and rides planned for that. We have some, food that will be there. So lots of things and lots of really great swag items for you to kind of get connected with. So we hope that you'll join us for all of those pieces. We know how important this can be to your transition, and we want to make sure that you're successful with that. So we've done a lot of talking. I'm going to take a pause and allow you guys to ask any questions you may have during this time, and we'll answer them out loud. So someone's asked, like, what happens in June with the session that I've picked there? So the date that you've picked in June, we will not be on campus for that, but that will be when you register for your classes. So that date and that registration is all a part of this 3-part process that we're doing. So you will register through that portal. You will do our online pre-orientation. You will meet with your academic advisor on the day that you've selected in your orientation registration. And then we will see you in August for that in-person orientation and pack premiere. We have a lot of questions about August and what that looks like. We are still developing that this week. And so we are hoping to have some communication that is very clear by the end of April for everyone about move-in days and times and when your session will be. We'll have some schedules that will be posted on our website for you to kind of get some of that in. Yes, so if you register, so someone's asked, like, if they've registered for their parent to come in June, do they have to cancel that and have their parent come in August? So your registration is one registration. We're not gonna register for each event. It's an all-encompassing registration. So that will take care of your online orientation, that will take care of your online pre-orientation, your academic advising piece, and the August orientation. So you do not need to cancel your guest and then re-add them to August. That registration of your guest will incorporate them. We'll expect them in August when you come for move-in. Any other questions about orientation and how this 3-part process will help you? So someone has asked that they've stepped in a little bit late and they're wondering if we're moving to an online orientation now. We are not moving to an online orientation. We will still have an in-person orientation. What we do have is an online pre-orientation module that students will go through. So there are 10 steps in those modules. They'll kind of get you connected to the resources that you'll need to be successful in your transition. After you've completed that pre-orientation, you'll meet with your academic advisor to create your first semester class schedule. And then we will see you in August for an in-person orientation. And so we'll have those specific dates and schedules on our website by the end of April. Someone has asked about hotel recommendations for this summer. So if you go to our westga.edu/orientation, there are some recommendations for guests to stay in hotels when they come to visit campus. Because we will not be having orientation in person in June, you will not need to schedule a hotel for June, but we will move you to August during move-in, and your parents may need a hotel room for that time that you've moved in or to attend orientation with us. Great questions so far. Someone has asked, do we have to stay overnight for orientation or is it optional? Well, because we'll be moving in August, you will be staying in the room that you will have for the semester. If you are a commuter student, you will not have to stay on campus for orientation, but instead you will just show up for the orientation program for each day if you are a first year student for our 2-day program, um, and come to campus for Pack Premier. If you are a transfer, we only have a 1-day program for you, and so there will be no need to stay overnight. So someone has asked, is the June date still 2 days? So the 2 days that you've signed up for June, that becomes the window for your advisor to contact you to register for your classes. So you will not be coming to campus in June. You will not be sitting through a 2-day session. You will have anywhere from a 30-minute to an hour conversation with your academic advisor to really pick that first semester class schedule. Good questions so far.
Nathan, someone asked in the question and answer if we're still having classes start in August. As of now, we are having classes start in August, and unless something else, happens. But for now, it is confirmed we're having classes in August.
Yeah, the university is listening to recommendations from the CDC and from our University System of Georgia, and they're making some really important decisions based on those recommendations. And so, if any change will happen, that will be communicated throughout the time that that decision is made. But at this time, we are still holding classes in August, and we are still looking forward to getting back on campus to kind of start our new school year off that way. I have a question about, are freshmen allowed to pick their own classes? So you will work with your academic advisor every semester that you're at West Georgia. So you will set up a meeting with your academic advisor, much like your high school counselor, and you two will help build a plan based on the degree map that you are a part of. So every major has a degree map, and you have to complete all requirements in that degree map. And so your academic advisor will help you navigate that space and help you figure out what is going to be the best schedule for you every semester, so we can make sure that you are moving towards graduation and getting out in that 4 years that we're hoping that you do, with as little debt as possible and with as much knowledge as you can acquire through that time.
Someone asked when the first day of classes are. So the first day of classes will start August 12th. And for online classes, I think it's still August 12th. Is those first day classes. What other questions do we have?
There's a question in the question answer asking, when will pre-registration be sent out?
The pre-registration, so there's a pre-registration questionnaire that has been sent out, and we are sending new registrations out every 2 to 3 days to students who, as they register for orientation. If you have not received that link, I'm going to go ahead and give you my email address for me to send you a link to that specifically. And so my email is ngraves, Graves, at westga.edu. And we can put that in the chat so that you can do that. But we will send you a questionnaire. And so was probably wondering, what is this, pre-registration advising survey? And that is just an opportunity for your advisor to get a little information about you. They want to know when you would like to take classes. Are there any restrictions like work that you have or family obligations that restrict you from maybe taking classes on a certain day? They also want to know if you have any previous college credit. So we have a lot of students in Georgia who are enrolled in a dual enrollment program with our institution or another institution. And so we're trying to figure out, what college credit do you have prior to coming in? And we want to make sure that we're not duplicating those classes as we help you make an advanced schedule. Good questions so far. So someone has asked, what classes are we required to take before jumping into our major? So each major is going to look a little bit different, and your academic advisor will actually talk through what that looks like with you while you sit down to make a schedule with them. Any other questions about orientation, how that works for this summer?
There's a question in the question and answer about dual enrollment students and a separate orientation for them. Just a little bit more information about that.
Yes. So prior dual enrollment students, you will join us for our 2-day first year student orientation and for PAC Premier. Go ahead and register for that academic advising date so that your advisor can reach out to you and get all of that taken care of. We're really looking forward in August to kind of helping you connect with other first year students, to making sure that you understand how your courses will be selected to navigate getting to graduation, and also make sure that you're comfortable in this new space and know how to navigate it appropriately as a first year student. So even if you were taking dual enrollment with us, being a first year student looks a little bit different than being a dual enrollment student. And so we want to make sure that even though you know how college works a little bit based on the classes you've taken, how college will work now that you're a full-time in college student, navigating the campus and connecting with student groups that aren't as compulsory as they would have been in college, or a sports team that you would have had. And so we want to really make sure that you feel connected and grounded in your time here at West Georgia.
Nathan, we've had a couple people talk about parking passes and when they get those. Can you speak upon that?
Absolutely. So parking passes are handed out on the first day of classes in August. You can go ahead and register your car that you're going to be driving to campus online through parking and transportation. So just go to westga.edu and search parking and transportation, and it will allow you to register your car and then pick up your parking pass when classes begin. Our parking and transportation is a little bit lenient those first few days of classes starting. So as you get to campus, you have a little bit of time to kind of pick that up. So don't think that on that first day, they're going to start giving you a parking pass, but on our website, it also gives you a good indication of where you can park based on what zone you will be put in for students. So we have residential students, we have commuter students, and they all have certain parking lots that are assigned to them. And we just got some really great signage on campus that tells you more information about which parking lot that is. So there's a number for every parking lot that you can see with a color that coordinates to the color of your parking pass. Any other questions?
Nathan, can we do like a brief overview for the folks that have just joined us?
Absolutely. You want to do that, or do you want me to?
Sure, I'll go for it. So for those that have just joined us, contrary to some rumors, we are not holding an online orientation. However, there will be a pre-online orientation. This will be some modules that you'll go through and get some good information from different resources around campus. If you've already registered for orientation, that registration date that would have been your face-to-face orientation will now be your registration date. So you will not come to campus for that date. However, your advisor will then contact you on that date. Let's say that my registration date was June 4th. On June 4th, instead of coming to campus for orientation, on June 4th, my advisor will contact me and we'll go from there to register our classes. Once we get through that process, you'll be assigned to an orientation leader. This orientation leader will then put you in a group with other new students, and you'll have a chance to ask the orientation leader any questions about anything at all. Once we get through that process, if you're a first-year student, we'll have a face-to-face orientation in August. This will be the same day that you move into your residence hall. For those that are not moving into their residence hall, for the commuters, you'll also come to that face-to-face orientation as well, and then that'll lead into our welcome week, which is called PAC Premier. For our transfer students, this orientation date will be August 4th. That'll be a Tuesday right before our PAC Premier. You're still welcome to come to PAC Premier. It is open for all students. It's a great experience. It's a 4-day process, and there's a lot of great information there, a lot of cool things. We'll have a paint glow party. We'll have a boom boom bingo, and you can find the PAC Premier schedule on our website. Is it up on our website?
The PAC Premier schedule will be updated on our website by the end of the week.
Cool. Are there any questions about that? So it's, again, 3-step process. You'll have that pre-online orientation. Once you get through those modules, it's very, very informative, and it's just been updated this year. You'll then go into the second phase of meeting with your advisor virtually. You'll go through and create those classes with your advisor, and then that last piece will be a face-to-face orientation in August. I wouldn't worry about necessarily the dates as of right now. That communication will come via email as we get closer to those dates in August.
I'm gonna pause for any other questions that are going to come in before we kind of talk about what next steps look like from here.
In the Q&A, someone wanted you to touch on the pre-registration again.
The pre-registration, yes. So if you want to log into your one login account, you can click the My UWG tab within there, and it will bring up your new student checklist. The first item on your new student checklist is to register for orientation. And so through that portal, you'll select a date. That date you selected will be your academic advising date, and then you'll have to go through the system and pay. You can add guests to join you in August for our in-person orientation that will happen there. And then you'll push complete. Your registration is complete once the payment is processed, and will help you kind of navigate kind of the process that happens from there. So that registration completion will prompt you getting access to the online pre-orientation. It will prompt us to send you a survey for your pre-advising registration that asks questions that will be informative to your academic advisor to create your schedule. And then it will help us get you in contact with an orientation leader that can ask those questions that are unique to you and really make this transition process a very intentional and personalized process specifically for your needs. You can find the One Login portal by going to westga.edu and clicking on the lock icon that's on the top right-hand corner of your screen. You will use the West Georgia credentials that you received after you are admitted. If you need some help with locating those, just go to westga.edu/beginwest and you can find all of that information there. Additional questions that anyone has? I want to talk about kind of next steps from here. And so after you've registered for orientation, you've completed your online pre-orientation and your academic advising appointment in June, Some other things that you can be working on is turning in your immunization form. If you have questions about that, you can email immunize@westga.edu. We also need you to complete that housing contract, and you can find that on our West Georgia website, or you can email housing@westga.edu. Make sure that you're also selecting your meal plan, and prices for that can be found by going to the West Georgia website and searching meal plans. All of the packages are listed there with the options that are available. Make sure that you're completing your FAFSA. So your online pre-orientation will kind of help you understand what the FAFSA is and how you fill it out. And our financial aid office can help you with any questions that are specific to you or any outstanding documents that they may need from you to help you get aid or any other scholarships applied to your account. We know that you are still finalizing your semesters in high school or at other institutions before you transfer. And so make sure that you send over your final transcripts to our admissions office so that we can get those processed and added to your account. And then make sure that you're checking your West Georgia email frequently for updates about things that are happening on our campus or other things that are specific to you. So your orientation leader will send you a welcome email through your West Georgia email, and we'll continue to contact you through all of those things. I'm going to leave this screen up for a little bit and take questions from here.
Nathan, someone would like to know if this PowerPoint is only available in this webinar, or is it going to be sent out or posted anywhere?
So all of this information can be found on our website at westga.edu/orientation. That was updated this morning, so you can get a little bit more language around what it means to kind of move through these steps. And there's also a link on that website to go directly to your orientation registration. This webinar has also been recorded, and so we will make sure that this is posted somewhere for you to access later and at your convenience if you wanted to share it with family members or you wanted to just reference it for yourself later. Any other questions coming in right now? Yeah, so someone has asked about how international students will complete the FAFSA. International students should contact our international office and they will have more personalized information for you that can assist you in making sure that you have specific things that meet your requirements as an international student. Someone has also asked, how do I turn in my immunization form? So there is an immunization form on our health services website, and you can complete that and just email it in to immunize@westga.edu. Angie over there is taking care of that. They are checking emails frequently, and they will update your account as those things come in. Someone has asked, so orientation is the same day as move-in day? Yes, and sort of, yes, in a three-step process, that can be true. So your first step is to complete the online pre-orientation, meet with your advisor, and then in August, when you move in, we will do a day-and-a-half orientation for you in person about specific resources we want you to connect with. We'll have a huge resource fair at the end of that program for you to connect with some different offices and make sure that we've taken care of all of your transitional needs that you may have as you come to West Georgia. Good questions.
And to clarify just a little, Nathan, that orientation check-in won't start until later in the afternoon as well.
Right.
So around 3:30 to 5 o'clock around that time.
So you will have
so
most of the day to do
plenty
that
of time.
move-in process, and you won't have to rush around. And then you can join us after that room is in place and you've had a chance to breathe. And we'll get you started with a welcome from our president and get you over to dinner to make sure that you're fed. Brett, do you want to talk a little bit about who our orientation leaders are and what their job will be through this and how they can connect with them?
Absolutely. So again, our orientation leaders are going to be students from West Georgia's campus. We've been, training since the beginning of January. We have a great group of students that are eager to meet you all new students. The OLs are basically going to be your resource. So if you have questions about literally anything at all, they're going to give you the real life, their real life experiences. Like if you have questions about involvement, they'll talk about how they got involved, why they got involved, what they got involved with, what they've experienced on this campus. The biggest part about the orientation leaders and the reason that they're going to be so impactful for you all is that we're not giving them scripts to tell you X, Y, and Z. They're going to be real life humans that have done this experience, that are not just have done it, but are currently doing the college journey and the college experience. And if you have a question that they don't know the answer to, then they know who to contact to get an answer. They know the right people to get in contact with to make sure that your transition is as smooth as possible. They are so willing and ready to help you all, and not just to help you all, but to get to know you and to become friends with you and to become a part of the pack with you all. I'm eager to get to this point where we can get to a face-to-face, so I can get to meet you all as well. They're a great group of students, and I think you'll enjoy your experience with your orientation leader.
Absolutely. We have about 15 minutes left. So are there any questions that any of you have? I do want to encourage you to kind of follow us on social media. So Andrea, can you talk a little bit about how they can get connected to our social media for some frequent updates?
Yeah, so we are on Facebook, Instagram, and Twitter. I will type the names, but for Facebook, we're just University of West Georgia New Student Programs. And then Instagram and Twitter, if you follow us on that, it's just the @UWG_NSP. And so we'll be posting updates throughout the summer, information to kind of connect you to campus and to other students and get you engaged. And so we'll be posting things that you can participate in, different story things to share, like where you're from and what you're excited about as we lead up to August and you all being here on campus.
I also would encourage you to follow our admissions page. They've got some really great ways to kind of get connected, to learn more about the campus that's happening. They're doing some spotlights on some virtual tours that are happening. And then of course, our overarching, University of West Georgia social media pages. They're doing some updates on how the campus is responding to COVID-19 and making sure that people have the opportunity to hear our path to all of this as quickly as possible. So we have some messages that our president is sending out frequently. You can go back and see some things that he's done most recently and just connect to the staff and the community through our social media pages while we're social distancing at this time. And then we can connect in person later in August. So someone has asked, will my mom be allowed to be on campus to help move me in and just not go to orientation? So your your family is more than welcome to help you move in. We know how exciting of a day that move-in is. If your parent elects not to come to orientation, that is absolutely understandable. I know that sometimes move-in date can be a little bit crazy, but know that we do have some special tracks just for families. We have a family reception that will happen on night one, and really assist them in their transition, because we know that your families also are a part of this college experience, and we want to make sure that they get an opportunity to really be a part of that. And so we also have a parent and family association, and we send out frequent newsletters, and we encourage them to sign up and be a part of that. We will, correspond later this summer about a fall family day that will happen on September 12th. It's our first home football game, and we have some really fun things planned. We're looking to bring some food trucks to campus and just have a really nice opportunity. It's about 6 weeks into the semester, so after they've moved you in, it's a great time for them to reconnect with campus and to reconnect with you in person. And so we hope that everyone will join us for that as well. Yeah, so I also want to give you some updates about that move-in day. We usually have some volunteers in housing that will help you. They have some big green carts that will make it easy, so you're not doing 100 loads up with what you can carry in your hands. So our housing is really awesome, and I know that they just did a presentation the other day, and I'm sure there will be more to come from that. But definitely check your West Georgia email frequently for updates about move-in as more of that information becomes available. You all have really great questions today. It sounds like we have a really good, eager bunch of people that will be starting with us in August. And so I can't wait to see the things that you do for our campus community. Other questions about orientation, about PAC Premier, which is our 4-day welcome week, or kind of that transition piece that we can help you with through the summer?
So I've added my email into the chat list. If you have any personal or specific questions about your enrollment process, feel free to email me. I'll get back with you pretty quickly. So yeah.
We have about 10 minutes left, so I do want to go back over how orientation will work this summer. So I'm just going to move through the slides again. We're going to do a 3-part orientation program for the summer. If you've already registered, you don't need to do anything else. We have your information, and we're ready to assist you in the coming weeks with our online pre-orientation that will happen. If you're looking to register, go ahead and go to westga.edu/orientation to register for that orientation. In that registration, you will select a date. That date corresponds to your academic advising appointment date, where an academic advisor will reach out to you to help you create your schedule. Once you've paid that registration fee, then you are locked into that advising date and you are ready to go for the summer. It will also prompt us to communicate with you the online pre-orientation modules, and we'll get an orientation leader that will reach out to you and kind of create a virtual small group with you. Our orientation fees for our first-year students are $125, and that incorporates all pieces. It's a one-time fee for all 3 pieces of that transition and orientation program. For guests that will be joining you for our program in August, that is $50 per guest. You're probably wondering what that fee covers. That fee will cover dinner and breakfast and lunch associated with move-in day. It will also cover the material for the program and a parent reception on night 1. For our transfer students, we are doing a one-day program for you, and your fee is $50 and your guest fee is $20. That will cover lunch for that program and the material for the program. After you've registered for orientation, again, we have that 10-module online pre-orientation that you'll complete, which will help you with financial aid information, help you understand the advising piece of getting started at West Georgia. It will answer questions about housing or meal plans, how to register for parking, and then help you be successful in the classroom. After that, you'll meet with your advisor to kind of get all of those pieces together, and then we'll connect you to orientation and PAC Premier. PAC Premier is a 4-day welcome week, and it covers a variety of really great engagement opportunities for you, such as, you know, Screen on the Green, which is a big movie that happens in Love Valley, or Hypnotist, which is a really fun thing that people do. We'll have a big glow paint party, get you connected to a resource fair about all the, you know, campus orgs that are on organizations that are on campus. And then we'll end that with you meeting with your academic departments, which means it's the individuals who will instruct your classes that are specific to your major, such as like nursing or education or things like that. Will help you navigate where your classes are located on campus, and then finish that off with welcome back class, which is the last thing that will happen before you go to bed to wake up for your first day of class in college at West Georgia. And then of course, you can always go to your new student checklist, and if something still needs to be turned in, that will be there, but here is kind of a generic list of what those items may be. All right. We have about 8 minutes left on the hour, but we will sign off here. We just wanted to say thank you so much for choosing the University of West Georgia to take your next steps. We are so excited to welcome you to our PAC this summer virtually, and then in August in person. We know that you will make such great additions to our community. We can't wait to see the things that you get involved with. As always, go West, go Wolves.
Thank you.
I will stay on a little bit longer if you still have questions. All right, Caitlin, I saw that you just submitted something that said, how do we do the online pre-registration? Maybe I answered that already. Caitlin, if you want to email me specifically, I can expand my answer if we didn't cover it here.
Someone just asked when this is over where they can view it back. I believe admissions is posting it on their YouTube channel, as well as they will be sending it out in a survey to you all soon.
We'll wrap up from here. Thanks, team.